You're going to love this. Trust me, what you're seeing now is my normal state.
So this probably will be, pretty brief. A little bit more brief than other videos, maybe. It's kind of funny that it will be brief because this series is so ridiculously popular. Alright. Welcome, I'm Spaghetti King, and today I'll be talking about my initial thoughts on Demon Slayer. So you had this series come out in, what was it, 2019 or something? I don't know. Called Demon Slayer. And I don't know what it is, but this thing is so ridiculously popular, it's unbelievable. I mean, seriously. Kiddies just can't get enough. I mean, I've been around the block, I would say, for a while with anime. Probably for a decade at this point. Man, I don't know what it is. Okay. Look. I don't want to start off on a negative note in this video, because I did like the series. I think the popularity is a bit overbearing, as it is with anything. Like Attack on Titan, I had the same vibes from, but not in the same way. I had it from more so like a Western angle of people being kind of overhyping it. But I thought Attack on Titan kind of toned down the hype better after Season 1. Granted, I think the best season of Attack on Titan is Season 1, so it's kind of ironic on that end. But when it comes to Demon Slayer, I will say that with the first time I watched it, I only had 3 hours of sleep at the time, so I didn't really remember the character names or anything really dwelling like that. I'm just gonna give you my raw take. It's gonna be like very raw. So, main character, don't even remember his name. Decent, but his setup is great. His setup is great. His characterization is pretty good, but the setup is great because the dude basically got like berserk eclipsed in like the first episode. So, we're off to a good start. Good in the storytelling angle. Obviously, tragic. I mean, it's one of those cases where, like Attack on Titan, you gotta have that, like, clickbait first episode that just gets the normies into gear. And that's how you do that. I personally don't mind starting off on a more simple note, but, hey, they just went. So, you have the basic setup where his family is killed, all his family, and it is sad. Granted, it is better when you get more like flashback scenes of his family, because his family is really wholesome. There's really nothing better in this world than like a large, congruent, stable family. You just got this like loving mother and a respectable father. And you just got like this huge family. It's this cohesive unit. There's really nothing more beautiful in this world. So it is sad that that's taken away from him, but the impact of that really doesn't hit home more so until you get the like flashback kind of thing, like the movie, because I did see the movie as well. And that movie was really good. But yeah, so it's a good setup. Nezuko lives, and she is like part demon, but she guards the beta character. I really should know his name, but sorry guys, I literally just very raw, dude. He believes that the demons are, in a sense, human. The demons are redeemable, the demons are not pure evil. Which is basically the interesting moral conflict of this series. Should the demons be considered human, or should the demons be killed? And the series is called Demon Slayer, so it's this kind of setup. What do you think on the demons? It's interesting, because my initial thought, of course, was the demons need to be killed. If humans are the only ones who are infallible, or should be infallible to death under godly laws, we should never harm our fellow man, but if you're a demon, well, you're our enemy, okay? And animals can also be killed for our own benefit, because we rule this earth. We've inherited the earth, we've inherited all the animals, we've inherited everything. And, we can take the life of animals for our own benefit, because our life is sacred, because we were created by God. But, not to hammer in the angle, but, I liked how they handled it, because a lot of series, I find, handle this not really in the best way. I did have a problem with the demons, which I'll go into a little bit later, but early on it wasn't really an issue. So like compared to like Berserk demons, they are more human-esque. Because Berserk demons, nearly all of them are irredeemable. Like Nosferatu Zod is like maybe a little bit better because he's like an honorable warrior and he doesn't really like rape people or whatever. But like every other demon literally is just like a massacring rapist. Every single one of them. So they're basically irredeemable. Of course, that works within the themes of Berserk, because what Berserk is saying through that is this evil that the apostles are in Berserk was gotten through their own selection. They chose to be given this. This is the manifestation of their own will, of their true selves, which is quite the thing to say about humanity. The hero will say things like that. Demon Slayer, it's nothing that kind of down. It's nothing that kind of downtrodden. It's basically the demons have this carnivorous. They have this desire to eat human flesh like zombies or vampires. They're really a lot like vampires, to be honest, less so like demons. But and they have this desire, and the whole thing is they have to like, resist it. And it is good theming as a setup. I'll go on to it in a bit, but I'll go over my problems with how it's handled. So, number one, you have these two other demons who come in here. Butler Guy, and then you have Kimono Woman who can like poison people. Again, I don't remember the names. These characters are demons who basically oppose Michael Jackson, who is the villain. I only know him as Michael Jackson, so I'm going to call him that. Michael Jackson makes all the other demons. He injects his blood into all the other demons and makes them demons. Now, the fact that they are demons opposing Michael Jackson is kind of a weird thing to me because, look, here's the thing. I don't have a problem with demons having the free will to oppose Michael Jackson. My problem was this. These demons do not display any of the whole desire to eat flesh. They just don't really. I think there maybe was a throwaway line that says they live off of blood, which makes sense, but I thought it would have been way more epic if they had, they had the desire to eat human flesh, but through like sheer will, they just didn't, you know what I mean? Like it was like a sheer will thing. So it wasn't really like Michael Jackson possesses them or whatever. It's more so that like they just want to eat meat, right? It's just how they are. It's just part of their instincts. But they resist that on strength of will alone. It's kind of like it's like you just turn into a demon and then you're possessed by Michael Jackson. It's kind of like separate from the flesh desire and the Michael Jackson possession. Because basically what it is Michael Jackson has some curse in you, like Voldemort, and you can't say his name, or else you'll like die and turn into this weird like blob monster. And I thought that was kind of lame, honestly. I thought it should have been like they just want to eat meat in general. And that's all Michael Jackson wants. He just wants kind of like chaos, kind of like a Joker figure. So he just makes all these demons go out and eat people, and that's kind of it. Instead, it was this kind of like elite thing where he has his like kind of like a Katsuki situation. He's like the grand boss kind of thing, and he possesses them. And generally, I think a leader who makes his followers obey him by like possession is like really lame, okay? Because that means there's really no conviction they have in him. They're basically just being forced, even against their own will. Another thing about Nezuko, you had the whole mentor character, the guy with the mask. Again, we don't know names, but he had a very weird name, actually. But he literally said that he just like used hypnosis, like hypnotic suggestion on Nezuko to make her consider humans to be her family. And I thought that was, again, kind of lame. So he just hypnotizes her? So it's not even her own conviction? It's not even her own belief? She doesn't even think on her own? I find that kind of lame. Honestly, I don't really like that. I think it should have been something where... It should have been like a philosophical thing, where like main character should have said to Nezuko, right now, you need to fight all the demons. Anyone who tries to hurt a human, you need to kill them. or whatever, fight them, and now all humans are your family, you know, this kind of thing. It should have been like a thematic thing, it should have been like a philosophical thing, it shouldn't have been, I'm just gonna hypnotize you and make you think this. Like, I don't like that, okay? Because that means Nezuko has no convictions of her own. And granted, I know she can't talk, and I don't know how smart she is, but, like, she understands, like, words spoken to her, so she understands this, so I don't like that. So, there's that. You do have who I just call the Flying Thunder guy. The guy who is the blonde guy who is like a wimp, but then when he snaps, then he goes like flying Raijin mode, and then he goes Super Saiyan, and psh. When he's fired up, I love the dude, but all the other times I hate him. Very interesting, because if he can go Super Saiyan permanently, I'll probably love the guy. But if he can't, then I won't like him. The dude's a simp, the dude's like a weak up. But, you know, if he can develop properly, and he's not just a, you know, underused slump, there's potential. And I want him to be. You know, the dude wants Nezuko. Go on that end, dude. Don't be a simp. Just go, dude. Just go, dude. Become Super Saiyan. You know, take Nezuko's hand in marriage or whatever you want to do. Just go, dude. Go. You know. And then you have Inosuke, I think his name is, the guy with the wolf head situation going on. The dude, the Chad. Love him. Love his kind of rivalry with the main character. Love his energy. His character arc is relatively simple, though. Relatively simple character, but, you know, he's just one of those things where you kind of just like him being around. Kind of reminds me of something like Jed in Avatar, where he kind of just has his gimmick. And I mean, Jet had more of a broad arc, because Avatar characters have really good arcs, but conceptually, his kind of attitude I found similar, sort of, in the way he fights. He's kind of gotten trolled in all the fights, because he fought the MC, and he lost. And then he fought like the daddy aunt guy who mollywopped him. So he's kind of gotten trolled so far in terms of combat. In the movie, he got good showings, but that is how it is. So Inosuke, I think his name is, fan of him, but he has room to grow in terms of me considering him excellent. So other thing to point out, other criticism I had. So you had the Blood Moons, right? That's what they're called, the Blood Moons. They're like your Organization 13, Akatsuki, Phantom Troop kind of group, basically. Like your count up of like villains to fight before you get to the big boss, who's Michael Jackson. Critically underutilized. Okay? I thought this was like bad. So these guys got serious hype, okay? These guys had so much hype that they had false hype, where you had you had those, the girl who like shot the volleyballs with the multiple arms, and the dude who had like a whole like ping pong, like arrow ability. They were hyped up to be Blood Moons, but then it was said they actually were not Blood Moons. So you had this hype as like Blood Moons. Then you had the dude who could like alter the shape of the room, who the MC barely beat in that really close fight. That was a good one, good budget on that one. But he also apparently wasn't one of the Blood Moons, you know? So you had all this hype for these guys. These guys were seriously hyped. And the first time you see the Blood Moons, the real Blood Moons, they're doing good. You have Daddy coming in, and he's strong, and he like, psh, you know, hitting the Inosuke over there. Oh, you know, good setup. And then you have, I think his name was Rui, the guy with the strings, these like spider guys. That dude was good. I liked his abilities. I liked his setup. He got more backstory than I was expecting. I thought he was treated well. I thought he was a good character. I liked his setup there. But here's the problem. These were the two Blood Moons we saw for the first time, right? And I think Rui was the only guy who was like a legit Blood Moon or something like that. Well, guess what? They were one-shotted. One-shotted. You know, you get the top tiers coming. I don't remember what their name is. Like the top level Demon Slayer guys, they had a certain name. But you have those two come in. You have the one girl that everyone loves a lot, and then you have the guy who I just call Kie because he reminded me of Kie. But they come in and one-shot these Blood Moons. Excuse me? So after all that hype, we were trolled like twice in a row, because we had the setup for the Blood Moons after that fight, and we have these guys who were supposedly Blood Moons, they were not, former Blood Moon. You know, so we got trolled twice tempted with this, they show up, they're good, they're on fire, one shot. Okay, that's what you call a misapplication of hype. These guys were overhyped. They were overhyped, and there's more to say. But like when you look at like Itachi Uchiha and the Akatsuki were not overhyped. Say what you will about the later part of Naruto, but all the members of the Akatsuki were introduced to us. We know all their powers. We know what they're about. They all at least got one fight, you know? And they weren't overhyped. You know, we got the spotlight of the Akatsuki. These guys were totally overhyped. They were overhyped by the elite Demon Slayer guys, and the sub-villains who were meant to hype them up got more prevalence than they did. Not a fan. And then guess what? Michael Jackson, at the end of Season 1, kills off like half the Blood Moons, because apparently Rui was, I think, like the 6th one, and there's like 12 of them, and it's logical that if they can beat the 6th, one-shot the 6th, I might add, then that means all the ones below him are irrelevant. So what does Michael Jackson do? Kill them off. Really? So you have 12 of these characters that you hyped up immensely, and you just kill off 6 of them off screen, basically, pretty much off screen, and then you one-shot the first guy who came in who had serious hype, and he was the 6th, and then in the movie you have the guy come in who I just called Sabin, and he had to fight with Rengoku, his name is, and that was a metal fight. That was a good fight, one of the best fights of this decade, dude. But here's the thing. He's the 3rd of the Blood Moons. And that means that, you know, below him is irrelevant from what I know. So, the Blood Moons are actually not 12. They're basically like 3 plus 1. 3 plus Rui. And Rui was one-shot. That's the actual Blood Moons you get in the series. That's what you actually get out of them. So, overhyped. You know, honestly, overhyped. And that kind of sucks. I'm not saying it like, this series is crap, meh. I'm saying it as that's a disappointment. You know, like, that's disappointing, dude. That's disappointing. I really wanted more from that. They had all this build-up. I was expecting a good, you know, like a good tournament-esque kind of thing, where like the Akatsuki, they would be shown off each. Kingdom Hearts showed off the organization members. They made sure you show these guys off. You don't set it up. You know, why set up 12 of these guys if you're not going to show them off? If you're only going to use, like, 3... and have 1 left for hype, then just have 4 and then have the one guy get one shot and then have your 3. That's what you should do, but it's a misapplication of hype, and I felt it was trollish. Even Kubo knows how to do this, you know? Again, the pre-Verona Espada, the Espada, you know, whatever. Kubo did this better, and Bleach has problems with this too, but seriously? Because again, this series has so much money it's making off of it. I don't know, dude. I don't know. Look, I'm not coming here to say that the series was bad, because it wasn't. The budget was excellent, and I thought the theming is really good. The execution was kind of basic in a lot of character arcs, but there's good potential in it. Like I said, Flying Thunder God, good potential. As of right now, a simp and lame. Potentially very cool. MC, decent flashback with him in the movie where he sees his family again and you get more of their characters. Very heartwarming, but also very metal, where he has to like stab his neck and kill himself every time he goes in that dimension. I like that. I like that because it shows that he's moved on, and it shows that he has just complete determination to do what he does. And it shows that he's in this world, you know? Like, he's not living in the imaginary. He doesn't want the imaginary. He's living in this time to, like, help Nezuko and whatnot. Legit, I like it. Nezuko is also overwhelmingly kawaii. Like, very good job, guys. Seriously. Like, I'm just gonna say it. Like, very kawaii, legit, I like it, good job. Nothing more else to say. And I can point out highlights, but seriously, Nezuko, one of the most kawaii of the year. Just great job, guys. That's all I think I have to say about Demon Slayer, so that's all I have to say now. I kind of had more negative things to say than positive, which I kind of didn't intend, because again, I like it. I like it. But as of right now, I'm not seeing it as the paragon of perfection. It has potential, though. And that movie was so good. The fight, the fight was the only reason that thing was a movie. That was a good fight. The death was pretty good, too. The death was pretty good, too. I have said before that character deaths where the guy dies and he gets to say his whole last words before he dies is kind of a bit overplayed. But it was a good death, so I won't criticize it. The dude was established well. I liked the dude. The dude provided a good example of how our characters can look in the future. It's a good setup. It's a good setup. Yeah. So, movie was excellent. Series overall was good. The training arc was really good, and it was good within a short pace. The guy who showed up in the mask, that was my dude. Okay, that was my dude. That was my favorite character. Only showed up for a very brief time when he fought over that whole stone slashing thing, but I liked that. I actually really liked that training sequence. One of the better ones, considering how short it was, but that's the series. That's what I have to say for now. So, Demon Slayer, good. I would recommend. Actually, you know, okay. There's one more thing I have to say. I should say this. This is very interesting. So Demon Slayer actually had the pacing of it reminded me a lot actually of what Naruto was originally going to be. So for example, it was more mission based early on. You had this kind of, he just gives requests and say, hey, go here and find this guy, and so he finds Michael Jackson initially and whatnot. That reminded me a lot of the initial pacing of Naruto, the initial concepts of how Naruto would be told. In a lot of ways, Demon Slayer, to me, was basically kind of like a reimagining of Naruto. And for that, it gave me a very classic kind of appeal. So I will say there was that element, and I really liked it for that. So, you know, you had the whole semi-Akatsuki setup with the Blood Moon, and this kind of manipulative villain, sort of like Orochimaru, and you had themes very similar to Naruto with the whole, he considers the demons to be human in a sense, redeemable, and he has a discussion with every villain he fights. He doesn't view them as subhuman. He views them as someone who should be empathized with. And that's very similar to Naruto. It's been a theme of Naruto since Zabuza, where he sees the shinobi he fights as people. Shinobi are people. Shinobi are not tools. It's kind of funny, but I see it thematically as similar to Naruto, which is kind of funny that it's popping off as much as it is. Obviously, it trashes like Boruto, so very interesting. I'll say that. I'll say that. I maybe could make a whole video about that, maybe, but I'll just say that for now. So that was Demon Slayer. I kind of had more negative things to say than positive, and I forgive that. But you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. It has potential. We'll see how it goes. Could be, you know, we'll see how it goes. Again, it's relatively early on. It's relatively early on, so we'll have to see where it goes. Maybe it will become the paragon for me. Maybe I'll be, you know, spouting its praises to high heaven or whatever. Or maybe it will just be kind of okay. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. You know, but as of right now, I liked it, and you know, the problems I had with it, you heard them. So you know, that's how it goes. So, thank you for watching. I'm Spaghetti King. I love you all, and farewell.